Hey, you. Not me, them.
Hey, you.
Hi, how you doing? Well, I'm actually asking because I want to know. Drop a comment, drop a comment. Today's segment with your amiable hosts, Alicia, and your co-host
Of course, George.
on Hyspace with Hygeia, we're discussing how are you doing, really? I'd like to know. Are you fine? Are you masking it?
And that question is not just a random how are you question, it's a how are you question, if you can get the difference.
I'd be better with some bank credit. Isn't everybody though?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to ask you something. Drop a comment, take the poll, wherever you find this. Give me your honest opinion. If you're an African, this video is for you. If you want to learn about the African's approach to typical conversations around mental health, well, this video is for you as well.
That's right.
So, Dr. George, do African men cry? Hitting the nail on the head.
That's typically African men don't cry. These days we are having men who are becoming more expressive, but generally an African man is trained from childhood to be a man, to toughen up, to chest the pain, to not cry, because crying is seen as a women thing and is seen as a form of weakness. So why are you an African man? You're supposed to be tough, you're supposed to be strong, and you are crying. Come on. And then men grow up with that narrative and bottle a lot of things in. And that is why clearly statistics show that suicidal rates is higher amongst men than women, because men take in a lot of things and do not express how they feel, as against women who know how to talk, who know how to express themselves, and who have support groups. We are still going to be talking about a lot and many more with our guest, Dr. Jide, on the show.
Yes, our very special guest, Dr. Jide, who is also a salesman, selling health insurance to corporates and retails. Individuals like you make up our retail plans where your family is covered, your wife to be, your mom, the woman who is expectant.
Actually, your mom to be.
Well, she's going to be a mom. If you're watching this video and your mom was pregnant with you, drop a comment when this was released. Anyway, we're going to be delving in detail all the things we want to know about mental illness,
That's right.
How to take care of yourself if you're mentally ill, how to address someone who is mentally down. Basically, the entire conversation about mental health.
It's not something that you want to miss, because we are going to be digging out a lot of germs. And of course, we'll be telling you how you can improve your mental health.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
You've heard it all. We've said more than enough times. Health insurance is beyond your actual health. Health is mental. Well, we'll stop at that. How are you doing, really? Today's episode, we're joined with a very seasoned medical doctor, come professional health insurance seller. His name is Dr. Babajide, and we're so happy to have him here. I remain your host, Alicia Beriko, and with me is Dr. George, my co-host for the day. Hello, George.
Hi, Alicia.
Good to have you again.
Great to be here.
So we're going to hit right into it on our roundtable section with round of applause, Dr. Jide. Thank you for being on set with us today.
Thank you.
We really can't wait to get into it. You have so much to tell us. We received some of your feedback on some of the things you've learned through your readings, through the books you've been studying, right?
Yeah.
And we have a few questions for you about mental health. I hope you're going to be giving us the tea. Like you're going to be spilling it, making it interesting. All right, so Josh, should I go or you go?
I think ladies first.
Fantastic. I have the lady in the house, am I not? All right, so I've been hearing a lot about mental health. It's come from professionals, it's come from friends and family, and it's come from people who have quack knowledge about mental health. So really, let's begin by defining what you say a healthy mental state of mind is. What is mental health?
I would say that mental health is just a state of, it's actually it's not something you put your finger on per se, unlike a physical health where you can say once there's an absence of signs and symptoms, you are fine. It's a spectrum, really, and encompasses a lot of things. It's actually my own personal definition of mental health is just a space where you're comfortable and how you feel does not reflect negatively on things around you or have things around you reflect negatively on how you feel, basically.
So basically, how I feel is what do you call it now?
Yes, the state of mind.
That's what do you call this thing on the fuel gauge? I don't know it.
So how you feel is it? So like
It's the
you're talking
indicator.
about the indicator.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're learning so many new things every single day. And talking about indications, there are a lot of times where your mental health doesn't necessarily reflect in just you.
That's right.
I would say it's an influence of your environment, so outside and inside. So now I know that the influences from inside I sort of can control, but I can't control the influence from outside. So now my question to you, Dr. Jide, how do I stay in check? How do I know that, no, the problem is my own self, my mental health? How do I know that, okay, this environment is actually impacting me? Because sometimes we think it is just regular stress. Sometimes we think it is just a way of life, but if you check it and you fix up something with yourself, you might be better off with the solutions or with the results that you have. But first of all, you need to know that there's something wrong. So how do I know that there's something wrong? What are the signs? I can't say cough is a sign. Cough is not a sign.
All right. So I think the first things first is you have to be honest with yourself. That's the first step, really. Another thing is you need to know yourself. So what's your normal? Like,
What makes you tick?
You've lived with yourself all your life, so essentially you know who you
Compulsory
are and
roommates.
what works for you. Yeah. So when you start finding yourself deviating from the norm, so say for example, you're the kind of person who likes to hang out, and then suddenly you find yourself losing interest in hanging out, then you need to take a step back and look at what might be wrong. So I think the general rule of thumb is to see once you stop enjoying things that typically were enjoyable to you at have been enjoyable to you previously, then you need to take a step back and look at what might be the problem. You can also tell from how people around you relate with you. So if you were the kind of person that people used to like to talk to before, and then all of a sudden everybody's walking on eggshells around you, then yes, it's a reality
It's a
check for you
telltale.
as well. Some people stress eat. Some people do the flip side. They don't eat. Some people don't sleep. Some people do the exact opposite. They sleep too much. But the main thing is you need to know the
What's
kind
your
of person,
regular?
yeah, what's your normal, and then once you start to deviate from that, then you want to take a step back.
Thank you so much. I think you want to go ahead.
Yeah, he's talked about the symptoms, things that you notice, and the thing with mental health is that these symptoms might be subtle. There are symptoms that might be happening, and you do not know that these are things that might be related to mental health being affected. So my question then would be, we've talked about what mental health is all about. We've talked about symptoms, things that we should take note of and pay attention to. What would be having noticed some of these things? Someone is watching and saying, "Oh, I have this, I have this, I have this." What would you advise as the next step that can be taken in for the person to make sure that, okay, I can nip this in the bud and improve my mental health?
So first thing, like I already said, is you need to be honest with yourself. So you recognize that yes, there is a problem. And then the next thing is to seek help. So when we say seek help, a lot of people have this. I mean, most of us grew up with the notion that mentally ill people are only the people you see on the streets, the vegans, But then one of the things I quickly realized in medical school was that mental health is, I mean, people who appear in quote unquote normal dress the same way like you and I do may also have some form of mental illness, and seeking help is actually the first step to getting better. So you have to be honest with yourself, recognize the fact that you have an illness and that it is manageable, and seek help too. So therapy is one way of dealing.
As
Other
the,
ways
the,
of dealing
the typical
is not
conversation.
internalizing
Yeah.
stress. I mean, stress is a normal part of existence. You go to bed tonight, dollar is 500. Wake up tomorrow, it's 800.
Being Nigerians.
I mean, being in Nigeria in itself is stressful. You have work schedules to keep up to.
Deadlines.
You have deadlines. You have
Traffic.
targets, traffic, bills. I mean, everything is it just feels like everything is out to get you,
Yeah.
right? And you can't escape from that. I
True.
mean, regardless of wherever you want to jackpot, stress, there's everything. So you just have to find ways to relieve the tension. You know, human beings are like we're like volcanoes, so to speak. Now the lava is bubbling under,
Yeah.
and
So
you just
it's
need to
fine.
let off the pressure once in a while,
Yeah.
or else it just keeps
Gathering.
accumulating underneath the surface, and then one day it just erupts, and by then it's usually a lot more damage is done.
Let me hold on to seeking help, because that's a major
That's very
theme
key.
in all of improving mental health and making sure that you are in a good state of mind. Seeking help, and let's bring it back to men. I mean,
I was going to say something about men and women.
you're a woman. I mean, you women have your own struggles, but for men and mental health and wellness, there's this very common thing that is everywhere: man up, be a man. And it's a word that doesn't, if we look at it squarely, doesn't tally with seeking help, because it is of the opinion that you should be able to handle everything. I mean, that's why you're created. That's what you are. So what can you say about it? What was your experience? When was the first time you even heard that word, and how did it shape you? How did it form your perspective or influence your perspective?
Yeah, so the expression "man up," I think that's one of the worst things that has been invented. If you ask me, like it's just something. The concept that just puts unnecessary pressure on the set of human beings, based on expectations of society on you, regardless of whatever the circumstances are. And I think that's just a it's very unfair, and it's well human, right?
Yeah.
And we're all made up of flesh and blood, emotions, hormones, and yeah. So why can't we all just be allowed to express ourselves?
I mean, they say men should not cry.
Yeah, men shouldn't cry. Then why do I have tear ducts?
I mean,
Really, why?
Question.
So if you're a man, and it is actually quite a lot to be a man in, especially in the African
Nigeria
setting,
society, yes.
because men are traditionally expected to be providers. They're expected to be the strong one.
Yeah.
They're expected to be the support,
Yeah.
and not just to your nuclear family now, but to your extended family.
Yeah.
So black tax. So you work for your salary, and you know that it's not just you and your family, but your extended family also have shares in
share.
that. So the pressure is quite a lot, and we still want to put up a front and show up, and like, oh, everything is fine, but inside you're bleeding inside, you're tearing up inside, and you can't even talk to those around you because you don't want to lose face.
Yes.
You don't want to fall their hand, because the expectations are there. So there has to be a cultural reboot, and we need to start thinking differently. Encourage male children. They'll tell you. I mean, growing up, it was like,
I'm sure growing up it was.
be a man.
Yes.
Why are you
Why
crying?
crying, yeah.
You should be openly.
Yeah.
And you grow up with that. I would say
Mentality.
it's a toxic
Yeah, it is.
mentality. When you grow up with that, and it just continues to get worse. So what we need to do is change the way we think, Change that mentality. Get the younger ones to be more expressive. It doesn't make you any less of a man, right? To shed a tear now and then if you need to.
When you say it that way, I actually think all the thoughts that many girls will probably be thinking right now.
Yeah, that they're
You-
men crying.
You know, I
right?
mean, like, you can cry enough, but like, come on. And then don't be,
It
all
doesn't
over
even,
the
it doesn't even
place.
help matters. And women also think that men should